All right, we're going to be talking about the associative property, obviously, in this particular video. So let's first identify the associative property. And again, there's two different versions of it. So the first version would look like this. If we have the value A added to the quantity B plus C, that's exactly the same thing as if we had the quantity A plus B getting added to the value C. There's also the multiplication version of the associative property. A times the quantity B times C is equivalent to the quantity A times B times the value of C. So let me give you a couple examples rather than using variables here. Let me go ahead and put in some numbers in place of our variables. So instead of the A for our multiplication example of associative property, let's say I'll go ahead and put in a 3. Instead of the B, I'll put in a 4. And instead of the C, I'll put in a 5. On the other side, again, I'll replace the A with a 3. I'll replace the B with a 4. And I'll replace the C with a 5. So according to the associative property, it's telling us that the stuff on the left side of this equation is indeed equal to the stuff on the right side. But if we follow our order of operations, it says that we're required to multiply or take care of the stuff in parentheses first. So if we do that, on the left side, we'd have 3 times 20. While on the right side, we'd have 12 times 5. Is 3 times 20 equivalent to 12 times 5? Well, 3 times 20 is 60. 12 times 5, it's also 60. 60 equals 60, therefore proving that the associative property is indeed a valid property. Now, a lot of students struggle with determining the difference between the associative property and the commutative property. If you took a look at my commutative property video, you notice that I gave you some examples in there of the commutative property where parentheses were in play. Typically, when students see an equation and they see parentheses, they immediately think of associative property, because in order for it to be the associative property, it has to have parentheses like these examples do, where commutative property doesn't necessarily need parentheses, and in fact, most times it doesn't. So here's how you can immediately and easily see if an equation is an example of the associative property. Let me go ahead and give you another example. What if I had 5 plus the quantity 6 plus 7, and according to the associative property, that is equivalent to the quantity 5 plus 6 plus 7. There's one thing that you need to notice about this that immediately gives away the fact that this is indeed the associative property, and that is the numbers on the left side, the 5, the 6, and the 7, are all in the exact same position or order on the right side. 5, 6, 7. In fact, the only thing that moved its position was the parentheses. They were around the 6 and the 7 on the left side, and then on the right side they got moved to around the 5 and the 6. Let's look at one more example so that you're sure of this. If I gave you 3 times the quantity 8 times 2, according to the associative property, that's equivalent to the quantity 3 times 8 times 2. Well, notice again, the numbers on the left side, the 3, the 8, and the 2, are in their exact same position or order on the right side. 3, 8, and 2. So if those numbers stay in the same order, all that moved was the parentheses, that is your sign, your indication that we have the associative property. All right, I hope this helps you clarify whether you have associative property or commutative property. Have a great day.